Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha. Dear friends, the founder guide of BES, late Shri N. N. Ramachandran, most popularly known as NNR, his first death and back. As BES is reaching the 44th year of its existence, we are remembering and paying respects to our founder through a bi-monthly program, NNR Memorial Lecture Series. And the inaugural lecture is being staged today. So it is time to commence the inaugural session of the program. Let me invite the President of Brahmin Educational Society, C.A. Shri K.B. Vasudevan, on the stage, please. I also request C.A. B. Jayarajan, Chairman of the Program Committee, to come on to the dais, and Secretary of BES, Shri C.S. N. N. Krishnan. Let us all now put our hands together to welcome the chief guest of today. Our chief guest. Okay. Chief guest and today's speaker, Senior Advocate C.S. Vaidyanathan sir, who has consented to be here to deliver a lecture on education for learning and education for life. This is one of the most important topics today. I also welcome Shri Karimbada Raman, State President of Kerala Brahmana Sabha, to the stage to grace the occasion through felicitation. Now, if the President gives consent, we will start with the proceedings. Prayer. Chitra, please come out.
Satyamai, Shuddha Snehamai, Divya Jnanamai, Varum Devame, Nityavum Nin Kripa Kadakshangal Yekane Nyangalkeppozhum Parilalambahinarayore Sevipan Shakti Nalganam Satyadharmadi Salgunangalal Jeevitam Dhanyamakanam Jeevitam Dhanyamakanam Jeevitam Dhanyamakanam.
Thank you, Chitra, teacher, for the wonderful prayer song. Let me invite the President of BES, C.A. Shri K.B. Vasudevan, for the welcome address.
Chief Guest of the Day, Senior Advocate, Supreme Court of India, C.S. Vaidyanathan sir, Kerala Brahmana Sabha State President Karimbada Raman ji, my colleagues in governing body, President and members of all organizations of Palghat, teachers from both schools, invited guests, good evening to all. For the benefit of the members present here, a brief of our institution. Sri late N. N. Ramachandran, known as NNR, with his professional partner in 1979. Both were very busy and involved in all social organizational activities. Wanted to do something big to Palghat. While NNR's partner chose medical services and public utility, our NNR chose education. because he wanted to provide education to the community at large, irrespective of caste, creed, and color. So, by forming Kerala Palakkad Brahmana Sabha, Tamil-speaking Kerala Brahmins, in one umbrella, he formed Kerala Brahmana Sabha, and making that as pattern, he made a society called Brahmin Educational Society. He started a small school in this premises, which was annex of the Sharda Kalyana Mandapam. Now, it has grown big, and we are having 3 schools now. BS English Medium School, Nurani, state syllabus. BTV, Bharata Tirtha Vidyalaya, central syllabus with +2, and one Namara aided school. Taking cue with this foundation laid by him, we, the new management, had given a facelift to the whole institution, and we are, both schools are making 100% every year. This multifaceted personality left us all last year. In commemoration of his first anniversary, the management wanted to recognize his human service to the institution, erected NNR Memorial Gate last week. And today, we are going to inaugurate NNR Memorial Lectures, serious lectures. And for that, we are here. When we thought of inauguration and keynote speaker, that is me and Treasurer Sivaramakrishna, first came to our mind a gentleman whose bonding with late NNR was in a different plane. Their relationship were a different plane. Mutual respect to each other. That is none other than our C.S. Vaidyanathan. When we called him, Sivaramakrishnan called him, sir readily agreed to be part of this show. He has taken all pains to be here from New Delhi. On behalf of Kerala Brahmin Educational Society and my own behalf, welcome him to this program. We have with us a dynamic personality, Karimbuda Raman, Kerala's KBS State President. Raman, after assuming office, he has given a different dimension to the organization. He has made the organization see that it is a force to be reckoned with in all aspects of Kerala political atmosphere also. On behalf of Brahmin Educational Society, I extend him a warm welcome. A chartered accountant, P. Unnikrishna Menon, representing the chartered accountants, he will be here to felicitate this function. He is on his way. In absentia, I welcome him. Also, Advocate Anandakrishnan, representing advocates, he will be here. In his absentia, welcome him for the program. Accepting our invitation, leaders and members of Chartered Accountant Association, Company Secretary Chapter, CMA Chapter, Palakkad Management Association, Indian Chambers, Senior Chamber, OYASCA International, Lions Club, Rotary Club, all the leaders and members are here accepting an invitation on behalf of Brahmin Educational Society. Welcome all for this function. Accepting our invitation, there are members, family members of Sir, NNR family members, and also members from village are present here. On behalf of Brahmin Educational Society, I welcome all to this meeting. Any program of the BES or BTV without teachers, teaching staff and non-teaching staff of Brahmin Educational Society School will be no there. I welcome all the teachers and teaching and non-teaching staff who are here for this function. Welcome them to this meeting. I will take this opportunity to welcome press and print media who have given a good coverage for all our functions in past, and welcome them to the meeting. Once again, I welcome all for this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, President, for the welcome speech. Shri B. Jayarajan, Chartered Accountant, who is the chairman of the NNR Lecture Series Committee, will speak a few words about this program and today's topic.
Good evening to all. The President of this Brahmin Education Society, my good friend, very dynamic leader who has given facelift after the departure of NNR, has taken over the leadership that day, K. Vasudevan, the chief guest, the keynote speaker, and very eminent personality, Senior Advocate Supreme Court of India, Sri C.S. Vaidyanathan sir, Kerala State Brahman Sabha President, my very good friend, who has also made facelift to Brahman Sabha in the entire state, and N. Krishnan Secretary and Convener Vaidyanathan, and my good friend, Ambassador of Angola, Sigmar Menon, NNR's son, Neelagandan, and my dear good friend from Lions, Rotary, OISCA, Senior Chamber, and other teachers, students, and all Rotarians, all my dear friends. This is a program started today. We are going to start this program. വളരെ സന്തോഷത്തോടെയാണ് ഇവിടെ നിൽക്കുന്നത്. കാരണം ഈ സ്കൂള് ഇങ്ങനെ വന്ന് NNR നേരത്തെ സാർ ഇംഗ്ലീഷിൽ പറഞ്ഞ കാര്യങ്ങൾ തന്നെയാണ്. അദ്ദേഹമാണ് ഒരു 45 വർഷം മുമ്പ് ഒരു വിഷ്വലൈസ് ചെയ്താണ് ഈ ഒരു സ്കൂൾ വേണം. ആ സമയത്തൊന്നും ഇത് വിഷ്വലൈസ് ചെയ്യാൻ ആർക്കും ആ ധൈര്യം കൂടെ ഉണ്ടാവില്ല. ആ സമയത്താണ് ഒരു അൺഎയ്ഡഡ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള സ്കൂള് വിഷ്വലൈസ് ചെയ്യാനുള്ള ധൈര്യം വന്നത്. അത് പറഞ്ഞ ഒരു താച്ചർ ഷെഡ് ഓലപ്പുരയിലായിരുന്നു ഇത് സ്കൂള് സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്തത്. അവിടുന്ന് സ്കൂൾ ഇങ്ങനെ നമുക്കാണെങ്കിൽ ഫോറിൻ എയ്ഡൊന്നുമില്ല, വേറെ പൈസയൊന്നും ഇവിടുന്ന് വരില്ല, അൺഎയ്ഡഡ് സ്കൂളാണ്. കുറേ ആൾക്കാരെ പൈസയും ഒക്കെ സംഘടിപ്പിച്ച് നൂറിനി ഗ്രാമ സമുദായത്തിൻ്റെ സഹായം കൊണ്ട് ഈ സ്കൂൾ ഈ സ്ഥലമൊക്കെ എടുത്ത്, അത് കഴിഞ്ഞ് കല്ലേക്കാടിൽ ഒരു 2-3 ഏക്കർ സ്ഥലം എടുത്ത് ഒരു CBSE സ്കൂളും നെന്മാറിലൊരു സ്കൂൾ, അത് മാത്രം എയ്ഡഡ് സ്കൂളാണ്, സാൻസ്ക്രിറ്റ്. ഇതെല്ലാം തുടങ്ങി വെച്ച് ഒന്നും ഇതുവരെ നിർത്തേണ്ടി വന്നിട്ടില്ല എന്നുള്ളതാണ് ഈ BESന്റെ ഏറ്റവും വലിയ ഒരു സന്തോഷകരമായ സാധനം. അതുപോലെ കൾച്ചറൽ ആക്ടിവിറ്റീസ് 10-38 കൊല്ലം മുമ്പ് NN സാറ് തുടങ്ങി. എല്ലാ മാസവും എല്ലാ വർഷവും ഒരു 10 ദിവസം പ്രഭാഷണം ഉണ്ടാവും. നൊച്ചൂർ വെങ്കട്ടറാൻ, അതുപോലെ ലേറ്റ് ഡോക്ടർ ഗോപാലകൃഷ്ണൻ, അങ്ങനെ എല്ലാവരുടെയും സ്പീച്ചസ് ഇങ്ങനെ 10 ദിവസത്തോളം നടത്തി. അതും ഇതുവരെ നമുക്ക് നിർത്തേണ്ടി വന്നിട്ടില്ല, കൃത്യമായി നടക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. അതുപോലെ തന്നെയായിരിക്കും NNR ലെക്ചർ സീരീസും. ഇന്ന് തുടങ്ങി ബൈമന്ത്ലി പറഞ്ഞാൽ ബൈമന്ത്ലി ഉണ്ടായിരിക്കും എന്ന് തന്നെയാണ് അനൗൺസ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. അതുപോലത്തെ ഇദ്ദേഹത്തെ പോലെ നല്ല സ്പീക്കർ തന്നെ പാലക്കാടുകാർക്ക് കൊണ്ടുവരാൻ പറ്റാത്ത സ്പീക്കറെ നമ്മൾ കൊണ്ടുവന്ന് കാഴ്ചവെക്കും. പക്ഷെ ഇതുപോലെ തന്നെ ക്രൗഡ് വരണം. ഇന്ന് കുറച്ച് ആൾക്കാർ കമ്മി ധാരാളം, ബിക്കോസ് ഓഫ് ലോട്ട് ഓഫ് മാരേജസ് ടുഡേ ആൻഡ് സോ മെനി അതർ ആക്ടിവിറ്റീസ് ബീങ് സാറ്റർഡേ. Otherwise, we would have expected more crowd on this area. And so this program, NNR, this memorial lecture we have started, because he is an education, you know that the founder of Brahman Sabha is also NNR, Brahmana, Kerala Brahmana Service also NNR. Even in our Chartered Account Association started by first president is NNR. Again, he became the first chairman of the Palakkad branch of Chartered Accountants. Again, when he started Rotary, he is the GSR of starter member of the Rotary. When Cosmopolitan Club started, he was the charter member. So wherever you see, he has touched everything gold, and this school is also running in gold with a lot of people like you, blessings and support. And a lot of philanthropics are supporting the school. That is why you can see this hall is also blessed by some gentlemen. You have seen that name is there. So everything is blessed by some of the good philanthropists, and according to their, this thing is growing up. Now the next year onwards, our school will be having minimum 8 classrooms in the digital classrooms will be provided in the BTV school and the BS this school also. That's a great achievement for the school because it is competing with the clear applaud. കൈയടിക്കാൻ പറ്റിയ ഒരു അവസരമാണ്. കാരണം ഇതുപോലൊരു അൺഎയ്ഡഡ് സ്കൂളിൽ വെളിയിൽ നിന്ന് സപ്പോർട്ടൊന്നും ഫിനാൻഷ്യൽ ഫോറിൻ എയ്ഡൊന്നും ഇല്ലാണ്ട് ഒരു 8 ക്ലാസ് റൂം ഇവിടെയും BTV 8 ക്ലാസ് റൂം അത് ഒരു ഇത് ചെയ്യാന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ ഇറ്റ്സ് നോട്ട് എ സ്മോൾ തിങ്. അതൊക്കെ philanthropists has contributed a lot. Similarly, നമ്മുടെ ഗ്രൗണ്ട് അവിടുത്തെ പെയിന്റിംഗ് so many ഈ ഹാള് തന്നെ അങ്ങനെ വന്നതാണ്. So many things has been developing. Every year we are doing a lot of things because the NNR has touched this land, so we have to do that. So I request once again all of your support in the continuing program. And our school has rightly said 100% results is going on for past so many years. So our teachers and staff are working hard. During the COVID period also, we were in very difficult position even to give salary. At the time, the teachers supported us in a very much way without any strike or any noise from their side. That is the quality of teachers we got, and that is why we could run the school so smoothly. So everything is going on well. And today, the first topic we should, because being the school related matter, education for learning, education for life. What a beautiful topic. This coined by old gentleman or Vaidyanathan sir. He has coined the topic. He has given suggestions and he has taken this topic. So there are a lot of difference between education for learning and education for life. It's a good signal. They are
exactly.
Good omen that their crackers are cracked because of our program. So we'll enjoy that. നല്ലൊരു പ്രോഗ്രാമാണ് എഡ്യൂക്കേഷൻ ഫോർ ലേണിംഗ് ആൻഡ് എഡ്യൂക്കേഷൻ ഫോർ ലൈഫ്. ഭയങ്കര ഡിഫറൻസ് ആണോ തോന്നും, ഡിഫറൻസ് അല്ല, പക്ഷേ ഡിഫറൻസ് ആണ്. ദാറ്റ് യു വിൽ ബി ലേണിംഗ് ബിഫോർ ദി എൻഡ് ഓഫ് ദി പ്രോഗ്രാം when he addresses the audience. So we had a prepared beautiful, definitely I'm going sure that it's going to give a lot of value addition. And I don't want to take much of your time. Already I have taken because I have to, you should also know what the school has done, what the school is going to do, and we need all your support in the future. And I've been contacting him. He's a very nice person. Usually Supreme Court senior advocate and all, when I call, if he's not there, again we have to call. But I never called him again. Whenever I call, he is not getting, immediately he will call me back. And you said 10 minutes back, I'll call you back. He will call me 10 minutes back. I may forget. That is the quality of the gentleman, very excellent person. So we are very rarely will get such person. People may talk, people may act. He is talking, acting, and he is a philanthropist. So these few words, I wish you a wonderful time in the next 1 hour. Thank you.
Thank you, Jayarajan sir. Sri P. Unnikrishnan, Chartered Accountant representing the Chartered Accountant community, has also arrived here. I request Sundararaman to hand over the bouquet, welcoming Sri Unnikrishnan representing the Chartered Accountants community. Now it is time for the formal inauguration of NNR lecture series, which has to go for a long time to come, as our chairman has hinted here. I request the chief guest to kindly light the holy lamp and inaugurate the program and deliver the inaugural address. പ്രസ്സിന് ഇവിടെ റൈറ്റ് സൈഡിൽ, സ്റ്റേജിന്റെ റൈറ്റ് സൈഡിൽ സീറ്റ് അറേഞ്ച് ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ട്. പ്രസ് റെപ്രസെന്റേറ്റീവ്സ് Vaidyanathan sir, please deliver the inaugural address. This is the inaugural session. So after lecture session will be after the inaugural session.
Good evening, everyone. Dignitaries on the dais, dignitaries in the audience, friends. It's a great pleasure for me to deliver this inaugural lecture in honor of a person who has done yeoman service to education, to the Brahmin community, to this village, Nurani village, and to the entire Brahmin community in the state. All of you know about the person whom I refer to as Chandru Mama, or Auditor Chandru, rather than NNR. I have known him from 1983 when my parents shifted here. In fact, my sister and brother-in-law who are here, they were living here even earlier, but they shifted here because they were closer. And so ever since then, I have been in touch with him. And I have always had a profound respect for him, for all the services that he has done. He has come with his family to our house in Delhi, and we have interacted on several occasions, and he has showered me with a lot of kindness and love whenever I used to visit this village for Sasta Priti or otherwise. So it's a pleasurable memory, and it's indeed a delight for me to be invited to deliver this lecture in honor of a person for whom I have a lot of regard. The Brahmin Educational Society has done a wonderful job. In fact, Mr. Vasudevan, when I visited on the last 2-3 occasions, had briefed me about the school and about the society and its activities. And I have always felt that giving education to a person is the biggest charity that anyone can do, biggest service that anyone can do. And I'm glad the Nurani Grama Samudayam and the Brahmin Educational Society are having several persons who are contributing to the educational activities of this institution. And as was mentioned earlier, they have been able to provide uninterrupted educational service in 3 institutions. Keeping in mind the praise and the institution which has sponsored this lecture, I chose the subject Education for Life and Education for Living. Okay. Okay. So, okay. I am so happy to therefore be a part of this event to formally inaugurate, and I do so.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the inaugural speech. Now it is time for felicitations. I request Sri Karimbudi Raman, State Person of the Kerala Brahmana Sabha, for the felicitation.
Let noble thoughts come to us from all sides. This is a saying from the Rig Veda. President of BES, Vasudevan, our distinguished guest, Advocate Vaidyanathan Ji, our former Ambassador Sri Kumar Menon Ji, our dear Unni Krishnan, we affectionately calling Unniyadan of Chartered Accountants Association, and Sri Chandrana Vayaska, my fellow members in the Kerala Brahmana Sabha, District President Ganeshan, Secretary Kumar, Sundaraman, and the BS Governing Board active members, my brother like Sri B. Jayarajan, Vaidyanathan, ladies and gentlemen. It's of course a pleasurable moment for BES to come out with a lecture series in remembrance of Sri N. Ramachandran Ji, who was the founder president of BES and Kerala Brahmana Sabha. We feel that it is our moral responsibility towards a person who was fully committed towards the upliftment of the community and of course to the society. Education should be man-making. How are we going to create the system? Early days, you all know, in every village, every Brahmin village got a school owned by the Brahmin community, and especially the community which was very focused to support the education to the common man. That vision, our NNRG also had that vision in order to start this society to promote education to the common man without looking at the caste, creed and religion. Today we follow the same principle of NNRG in running the institution. Even in the COVID time, we are not pressurized any parents to pay the fees. We had real setback and suffering at the point of those days, but still we thought we should give education not on the basis of caste, creed or religion, or by not paying the fees, we never sent back a student from our organization. Of course, Vasudevan struggled a lot to run the organization. He really did a wonderful job by, of late when we go to a house, I was sharing with Vaidyanathan Ji, we have a scheme called Vishukhainatam Brahmana Sabha. So I went to a house to collect the money. When I knocked the door, the child opened the door and father he was inside and he was asking, Mole Araka Mandirika, who has come? The mole said, the daughter said, Achas Tiramaita Paisavidika Ruala and the Mama Vaka Mandirika. So Vasu, myself and all in that brand now, people started telling whenever we go, people will come with their purse and tell what is this contribution for. See, today, world become very small, world is our village. So it's our responsibility to work for the common man, especially Kerala Brahmana Sabha, through we pressurized the Forward Community Development Corporation to give more than 30 crore to the economically backward people living in village, which was extended to all communities we stressed. I was a member in that. Apart from Brahmins, we gave to all the communities irrespective of LDF and UDF government. We gave education scholarship for the economically needy, and we also started last 3 years 1 lakh for economically backward marriages. We already spent 3 crores from the government to the economically backward people organizing the marriage. Our government is also supporting the Forward Community Development Corporation, which is under the government of Kerala. Today, education is the focused area. So we are giving much emphasis to education because Vaidyanathan is there to speak on education, so I don't want to get into that. And as usual, you know, I go to many of the management institute as a speaker. I go to IIM Bangalore and Calicut for 30 hours. Usually the professors got a habit, when they get a mic and a crowd, they will not leave both. I don't want to do that. We are eagerly waiting for Vaidyanathan's session on education. And we want all your support to build this organization. And Jairaj was mentioning about the crowd. പന്നിക്കുട്ടികളെക്കാളും 100 പുലിക്കുട്ടികൾ മതി എന്നുള്ളത് നമ്മുടെ എഡ്യൂക്കേഷൻ എന്ന മെസ്സേജ് ഇവിടെ പല സ്ഥലത്തിലേക്ക് പോകണമെന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ നമുക്ക് ആളെ കൂട്ടിയിട്ടൊന്നും കാര്യമില്ല. ഇവിടെ വന്നാൽ ഈ എലൈറ്റ് ക്രൗഡ് മതി. വാല്യൂ ഓഫ് എഡ്യൂക്കേഷനെ ലോകത്തിന്റെ ഭൂപടത്തിൽ എത്തിക്കാൻ ഈ ക്രൗഡ് മതി. ക്വാളിറ്റി ക്രൗഡാണ് നമുക്ക് ഏറ്റവും ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻറ്റ്. ഇന്ന് പല മീറ്റിങ്ങുകളിലും ഇല്ലാത്തതും ഒരു ക്വാളിറ്റി ക്രൗഡ്. പല ക്ലബ്സിലും ഞാൻ ഏർലി ഡേയ്സിൽ റോട്ടറി ക്ലബ് പാലക്കാട് ഈസ്റ്റിൽ അന്ന് പോകുമ്പോൾ, പാലക്കാട് ഈസ്റ്റ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ പാലക്കാടിലെ ഇൻഡസ്ട്രിയൽ ജയൻസിന്റെ എലൈറ്റ് ക്ലബ്ബായിരുന്നു. ഓരോ ഇൻഡസ്ട്രിയിലെ CEO. ഇന്ന് എല്ലാറ്റിലും ഒരു ശോഷണം വന്നിട്ടുണ്ട്. ആ ശോഷണം സമൂഹത്തിലുണ്ടാവും. പക്ഷേ നമ്മുടെ ഉത്തരവാദിത്വം അങ്ങനെയുള്ള പെട്ടെന്ന് ഞാൻ ഇംഗ്ലീഷിൽ നിന്ന് മലയാളത്തേക്ക് മാറുക. അത് പെട്ടെന്ന് ഒരു ഭാഷാധ്യാപന പാരമ്പര്യത്തിൽ നിന്ന് ജനിച്ചതുകൊണ്ട് മലയാളത്തോടുള്ള ജനനീ ജന്മഭൂമിച്ച സ്വർഗാദപ്പിക്കരിയസി എന്നുള്ളത് കൊണ്ടാണ് പെട്ടെന്ന് മലയാളത്തിലേക്ക് അങ്ങോട്ട് പോയത്. അതൊരു മലയാളം നമ്മുടെ സംസ്കാരത്തിന്റെ ഭാഗമായിട്ട് നമ്മുടെ ചോരയിൽ മലയാളം ഉള്ളതുകൊണ്ടാണ്. അപ്പോ ആ വന്ന മാറ്റത്തെ നമ്മൾ എങ്ങനെ ഉൾക്കൊള്ളണം? ഈ മാറ്റം എന്നുള്ളത് ചേഞ്ച് ഈസ് എ സ്ലോ പ്രോസസ്. ഹു വാണ്ടഡ് ചേഞ്ച്? Probably if I have a son of 2-year-old wanted a change when he pisses in the nappy. We all have mental block for change. Change is a slow process. When we want to catalyze the change, we need to work on. Change means we are looking for a change. BS is looking for a change. That change need to be supported by you all so that we can create more milestones down the line, create a brand equity and brand value for BES. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Naman sir. Now I request Chartered Accountant P. Unnakishamenan for presentation.
Dignitaries on the dais, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, I would like to place on record, on behalf of the Chartered Accountants of Palakkad, whom I represent here, and on my own behalf, the sincere efforts taken by Brahmin Education Society Palakkad and the organizing committee for having planned and executed the course of execution, actually, a bi-monthly lecture series styled NNR Memorial Lecture Series. Now, as we all understand, today we are taking off with the first program, a very important one, most relevant of one of these days, education for learning and education for life. And we have none other than Senior Supreme Court Judge, Sri Advocate C.S. Vaidyanathan sir, to take the class. That is the first most important thing. And I think this lecture series will be a perfect tribute to the legend NNR sir, befitting his multifaceted personality. Now, coming to my personal acquaintance with him, I started getting more close to him, I would say, in the early 1980s, when I chose my career as a chartered accountancy profession, in the chartered accountancy profession. And I started my articles in Palakkad, articleship, though not under him. It was at that time when not only myself, all the students of those days, all the young chartered accountants who were just started their profession, we all looked upon him as a guru. He was a role model for us. There is one part of it. He was known from those days itself for his professional competence. He will not dilute on professional integrity, and he stood for the professional values, for upkeep of the professional values. That was those times. And as we all know, as days passed, and even otherwise, this brochure tells that he was all along, at that point of time even, interested in educational, social, cultural, and religious activities. And naturally, for any person, while getting matured, for him also, after having his profession left to be managed in the safe hands of his family, he entered into these other fields. And it was at this point of time that I got to know him better. In Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan, while acting as, he was the president, I was the treasurer for many years. And I had the privilege of knowing him closely. He used to advise me properly. Not only that, he guided me properly in many occasions. And those guidance has been taken by me in my mind, and I am applying those guidance and advices even in my day-to-day life. Such is the connection with Sri Ennana sir. Now, in this occasion, I wish to offer my pranams to Ennana sir and thank the organizers for inviting me here. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for that felicitation. The inaugural session is over, so let us vacate the podium and dais and hand over the podium to our distinguished speaker. We'll speak on, as has already been pointed out, education for learning and education for life. Vidyadhanam sarvadhanat pradhanam is the saying about education. So before we start, sir, let me just introduce the profile of our great speaker here today. Born in Coimbatore, CSV sir was born in Coimbatore. He did his primary schooling in Dharapuram. Later, he took his BSc degree from St. Joseph's College, Bangalore, and BL from Mysore Law College in 1969. He enrolled as a lawyer at the age of 21 and started practicing in the chambers of Mr. M.K. Nambiar and K.K. Venugopal, senior advocates, Madras. In January 79, he shifted to Delhi along with K.K. Venugopal when he became Additional Solicitor General of India. In August 79, he became advocate on record in the Supreme Court of India, and in February 92, he was designated as senior advocate of Supreme Court. So 30 years since, he has been designated as a senior advocate by the Honorable Supreme Court of India. He was appointed as first Additional Solicitor General in 1998. Please give a big hand to our great speaker. Lot of things. He has traveled extensively in India and abroad, and he has also attended a lot of international conferences of International Bar Association, United Advocates International Union of Advocates International Union. From 1997 to 2000, he was advisor to the President of UIA. He was Regional Secretary of South Asia UIA. While he works mainly in Supreme Court of India and the High Court of Delhi, he is also regularly appearing in the TDSAT, Telecom Dispute Settlement Appellate Authority, and Appellate Tribunal for Electricity, National Consumer Disputes Redressal Commission, the National Company Law Appellate Tribunal, Interstate Water Disputes Tribunal, apart from having appeared before the Justice Verma Commission and the Justice Jain Commission of Inquiry on the assassination of late Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi for the state of Tamil Nadu, and he also appeared and continues to appear extensively in various high courts in the country. He has also been engaged in several arbitration matters, including international arbitration. He was for Government of India as a law officer during his tenure from 1998 to 1999. He appeared for the Government of India in a number of sensitive and important matters, including high-value taxation issues, both direct and indirect. As a senior counsel, he was involved extensively in a number of disputes in the infrastructure sector, including the regulatory aspects, particularly in the field of telecommunication, broadcasting, power, mines, airports, etc. He has also appeared in the Interstate River Disputes Tribunal, including Kaveri, Ravi, Bias, Narmada, Vamsadhara, and Krishna. He has also appeared in several election dispute cases and disqualification cases. And lastly, he has also appeared in the for Ram Lala in Ram Janma Bhoomi case, also appeared as a petition for the petitioner in the Ram Setu case. And he is one person who has appeared for argued for making Sanskrit as a subject in all CBSE schools. We have a Sanskrit orientation school in Nenmara where hardly it has got only less than 25 students, and 5th, 6th and 7th, three classes only are there. I welcome the great speaker here. Let us all put together our hands again and welcome this great speaker on this occasion. Sir, before you start, let me also give a small piece of information that the SSLC state results were published yesterday, and our school achieved 100% result. As usual, for the last 35 years, we have been having regular results like this, and this year we got 200% increase in the number of all A+ scored students. So that is, the teachers are available here. So let us congratulate all the teachers. Please give a big hand to the teachers. Thank you. Thank you. Sir, welcome.
Thank you all once again. I have a prepared speech, but I don't want to read. I can have it circulated through WhatsApp or have it printed out and given. So I want to speak something which I thought will be more appealing considering the time of the evening and the audience. I know when prepared speeches are read sometimes, people go into some other world. It used to be said that a lot of creative energies are generated when in the Christian parishes, the churches, Sunday sermons are delivered, and most people don't listen to what the preacher is saying. They are in their own world. That's how you had people thinking about how Apple is falling, or Leonardo da Vinci coming up with how to even fly. That's how imagination grows. maybe if I were to read the speech, you might be thinking about, we are having so much of land used for preparing food for the 7 billion people, 1.4 billion in this country alone. Of the water available in the world, only 3% is potable, drinkable, can be used for irrigation. Rest 97% cannot. So your creative imagination may start wondering, how do we develop more water? 90% of this 3% is used for irrigation, not for drinking or washing, sanitary purposes. That's only 3-4%. Why are we using so much of water for irrigation? Why are we blocking so much of land for cultivating food? That may be the thought that will grow in me if I were to read a speech. Now, I just said some figures. That is the content that we learn in a school. How much of water is available, how much of it is used for different purposes, etc. That is available today on your phone, through internet. You pick it up. So much of information is available. But education is meant to arouse your desire, your curiosity, to do something better. If you have today the humanoids with artificial intelligence, which can function, which can carry out most of the things. If I want a speech and I ask a question through ChatGPT, I'll be able to get a speech. You don't need to dictate a speech, you don't need to write it. Humanoids are similarly capable of doing several functions that we all do. What is the energy that a humanoid gets? You charge with electrical energy. It's able to function. So why should the human beings block so much of land, use so much of water for the food? That is the question that any educated mind with a vision should be asking. That is education. That is what education should create. A thinking person who will be able to think of new things. I am reminded of a song. Shivaji Ganesan, I come from the old days. Shivaji Ganesan goes on a bike and is singing. பறவையை கண்டான் விமானம் படைத்தான், பாயும் மீன்களில் படகினை கண்டான், எதிரொலி கேட்டான் வானொலி படைத்தான். So you look at several things in nature and you take a cue from that. That's how new things come up. So education is therefore the cornerstone for personal development and societal progress. And we don't confine education only to the schools and classrooms. In fact, most of the education comes from the family first. Then the larger family, the community. This is where you learn so many things. How does a child learn how to walk? A child observes people who are in the family. Oh, this is how I walk. This is how I eat. This is how I drink. And when you all sit in a table and have your meal, the child learns how to eat. That is education. So education is not only confined to the schools and institutions. In the good old days, when the joint family system was there was so much learning happening every day in the interaction. One of the most important things that's needed, on which sufficient focus is not paid in this assembly line education system that we have today, where students are trained to face examinations and succeed in a competitive way and look for professional careers, medicine, engineering, etc., is in regard to interpersonal relationship. The family, the joint family, every day was a learning experience for everyone in the family. That was education in practice. One of the important things that we face today in a society is adjustment problems even amongst couples. Adjustment problems amongst communities. We thought we have seen the end of war when the Second World War got over. But we are seeing in real life today what is happening in Europe. Hopefully it is not the seed for destruction by igniting a third world war. Interpersonal relationship is a very important aspect of that we need to inculcate in the younger mind, and that you will get in family living, in the community living. I have seen in this very Grama Samudayam how people are willing to help those in need and how people come together for any community function like Sasa, Priti or anything. I remember the good old days, whenever a marriage is to take place, the entire Agraharam, all the people will be involved. One will be making murukka, another will be making laddu, the third will be making a jalebi, and everybody will be together. So that is again part of education. Our concept of education being only content oriented to learn, get some information and then pass an exam, secure a job, and assure ourselves of some professional income. That concept of education we have to get rid of. We have to rediscover the true essence of education. Yes, education as a means for securing a living, earning by having a job, having financial stability, that is part of the process, but it is only one part. But education is much more than that. Education is a journey of self-discovery. Education is a process that shapes our character. Education expands our horizons. And education also equips us with the tools for leading a successful life. But education as a means of nurturing our minds, fostering critical thinking, and most importantly, cultivating a lifelong desire for learning, that I think is the crux of education. Today, whatever I am, I must really thank one of my teachers in the fourth form, the then fourth form, which was 8th standard at that time. One Mr. Nurani. He was my class teacher and maths teacher. But more importantly, he taught me the value of reading. Reading not just school books, but reading anything, reading a lot of literature, English literature, Tamil. He said, you go to the, at that time we didn't have the internet. We couldn't get everything on our phone. So he said, you go sit in the municipal library, read the books, read magazines. You will get so much in. And that has stood me well. Even today, I read a lot of books. I read books in English, books in Tamil, because that's the language that I learned. I read books in Sanskrit also. But I read on a variety of subjects. I was a student of science, then did law. But I read a variety of books, politics, economics, technology, various other things. It opens up an entirely new world. So that is the education. First, every teacher in every school must instill this interest in every student to open up their mind, read, and learn a lot. And I can tell you from my personal experience as a lawyer, I always say, I am a perpetual learner, a student all my life. Every day I learn new things. I may not be an expert in all fields, but I need to know at least the basics if I have to argue a patent case. I must pick up a little knowledge in regard to, if it is a pharmaceutical patent, I must know about that. So I must know about the biochemistry, I must know about the organic chemistry, how that product was produced. If I am doing an electronic patent, I must learn about that. When I do the water disputes, I have learned soil science. I have learned about how much water is required for growing a paddy crop. These are things, therefore, every day I learn. So, if you keep your eyes and ears open, you will pick up so many new things. And that is education. Education throughout your life, for life. It is not only during the school days or the college days. And that will give you a lot of satisfaction in leading a good life. And that will help you in your pursuit of happiness. The American Constitution says that the object of life is pursuit of happiness. Therefore, when we come into this world, we are looking, what is it that we want? Joy all around, pursuit of happiness. Some people get a lot of joy listening to the music. Today is the birth centenary of M.D. Ramanathan. That genius could not attract a huge crowd. He was not a successful platform concert performer. But the man's genius is being realized today after so many years of his death. He enjoyed music. He sang for himself. He sang for the spiritual welfare of himself, not to please the audience. That is the education that he had. Therefore, when we focus on education only as a means of achieving knowledge or content for a living, we reduce the richness of human existence to a mere transactional experience. We narrow our vision, limit our potential, and confine ourselves to the boundaries of our chosen profession. Life, however, is multifaceted and abundant with opportunities for growth and experience, growth and exploration. If today we have people from India being sought after for occupying the corner offices as chief executives in multinational corporations in the world, it's because, in spite of all that Macaulay did and British education system did, the persons who studied here kept their mind and vision open and were not merely able to acquire skills, know where to get the information, look for new ideas, but also have great interpersonal relationship. One can't become a chief executive officer if you do not have that interpersonal skills. That is the kind of education that each one of us in India have been able to have, which you do not find so much in the advanced societies. They say, okay, you are 16, you now go on your own. You go and earn your money. Look, here the parents sacrifice and spend enormous amount of money, income, at their sacrifice of their comfort to educate people. Therefore, sometimes, even at the age of 25, you might be supported by the parents. But in all this, the parents encourage you to be nice to the larger family. You see so many of them, you try to help them, you are friendly with them. This is how you develop that interpersonal skill. Education for life instills a sense of curiosity and wonder, helping us to appreciate the beauty of the world and fostering a desire to protect and preserve for future generations. Today, there is a pressing need for each one of us to realize that we can't have this consumption-oriented society focusing only on GDP. We were not like that. Please ask yourself the question, till 200 years ago, did we not have an education system in India? Was it only after Macaulay and this formal schooling that has come about that we impart education? There is something missing in our history. Incidentally, we as a society have not been recording our history systematically. We have communicated orally. The Vedas had been passed on orally. It's only in a few temples and public institutions you have these old culverts, even in sculptures, you have had some recorded history. We had a very good system of education. Skills were passed from father to son or from the guru to the shishya. How do you, when you go to some of these old temples, go to Rameswaram, go to Madurai, go to Belur, Hale Beach, all these places, you'll find some of the most beautiful sculptures. Look at the architecture. Who are these? That was a skill which was passed on. And that was the education. So, you have some of the most beautiful artifacts, wooden articles, created by artisans. Our Carnatic music was preserved by the temple artists, Nadaswaram Vidwans. You had the Bharatanatyam which was preserved thanks to those who, it was said, were devoted to the god. Today you have therefore been able to continue with that. So we had a system of education which was able to develop an ingrained sense of civilization, culture, deep respect for elders, gurus. That was the kind of education that we had, and that is how, in spite of multiple invasions in the last 1,000 years, multiple rulers from abroad governing us for several centuries, we have been able to preserve our culture, our language, and our vision. As persons who therefore inhabit this ancient land, we need to have this holistic vision. And we must encourage our children to pursue education as a lifelong endeavor and not merely as a means to secure a paycheck. Let us create an environment where intellectual curiosity thrives, where learning is valued for its own sake, and where personal growth is given as much importance as professional achievement. Of late, you have this assembly line products coming out through the rote learning regime, committing various things to memory. We need to rethink this. We need to rethink this part of the education system that we have been following. Education is something that transcends the bounds of vocational training and economic investment in a traditional sense. It's a movement from darkness to light. Degree from an institution is today, of course, a necessity. But that should not be the sole motive of our educational institutions. In fact, Albert Einstein said, education is what remains after one has forgotten what one has learned in school. That is education as he understands. And you look at the kind of people who have created the school dropouts, the college dropouts. I'm not saying everybody should be a dropout to become a success. But he dropped out because this rote learning did not interest him. He had something else in mind. As parents and as teachers, we need to realize that the 10 fingers are not uniform. One student may have interest in music, another in dancing, a third in history, a fourth in something else. So we need to understand that everyone cannot achieve 100% in all the subjects. We need to provide for this diversity, diverse interests. We had that in our Indian educational system. But when the British came, they said, we need people who can serve us in our administration, who will know English, who will know how to write, who will know how to pass orders, how to implement. So, we in our schools gave importance to functional knowledge sufficient to support the British administration. This was a deliberate and intentional act to create a mass of people who will serve the British administration. But we had persons who turned out. You look at your Panjangam. The person who does that, Panjangam Ganikaravar, he is able to forecast what date the eclipse is going to occur. He doesn't need the tools that today some astronomers have developed. He had the astronomical knowledge. We have forgotten that. We need to recognize that kind of talent. Anybody who is unconventional will always have a problem. When Copernicus said at the solar system, the center is the sun and not the earth, there was a huge backlash. People were not ready to accept it. Church did not accept. He was ostracized. Therefore, we have had such visionaries who do not conform to a set pattern of rote learning. And that is the person who is able to advance the science, our entire learning. We are almost touching 8 o'clock, so I don't want to take more time. I want to end by saying life is a journey of discovery, discovery of truth, the internal and external truth. Education is therefore not merely a preparation for life, education is life itself. I would therefore urge each one of you to seek out for experiences that challenge you and help you grow. We must be open to new ideas and perspectives and willing to step out of our comfort zones. That's when you become an outlier. Otherwise, you will be the average mundane person. One needs to be curious, ask questions. That, I think, is the fundamental part of education. I always tell anybody who joins me as a junior, never accept anything as a given. If a law is made and if it doesn't accord with your sense of justice, with your common sense, there must be some way of challenging that law under the Constitution. Ask questions, never accept anything as a given. If you want to live in your comfort zone, you can't really reach up to the sky. You have to take the risk. You have to burn your boats and then move forward. I therefore say that in today's world of 21st century, the higher order skills that are required are 4 C's: creativity, critical thinking, communication, and collaboration. These are becoming more and more important if we have to not merely survive but thrive. And I would request each one of you to spread this message in the family, amongst your children and grandchildren, because we have a vision that this country will be a global leader, and we need that kind of vision and education. Thank you. I will take available this speech.
There is a small question answer session. Those who want to ask questions. Another 10 minutes is devoted for question answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask any question can come forward and ask. Krishna, mic avana kudu. Mic.
Good evening, sir. I am a voracious reader. நிறைய தமிழ் தான் படிப்பேன், மலையாளம் தெரியாது. கோயம்புத்தூர் சபர்பன் ஸ்கூல், Krishnamal College. So I am very much interested to know, of late, நீங்கள் நிறைய தமிழில் நிறைய படிப்பேன்னு சொன்னீங்க இல்லையா? நீங்கள் படிக்கிற புக்ஸு எழுத்தாளர்கள் யாருன்னு தெரிஞ்சுக்கிறதுல நான் ரொம்ப ஆர்வமாக இருக்கேன். Of course. Writing.
Subjects, the variety of subjects. A man who was an electronic engineer and who was the inventor of the voting machine. His name was Rangaraj, and his wife's name was
Sujata.
the pen name of his wife. Of course, I read Kalki, all those Sandillian, various, all those people on those days.
Kiva Jagannath.
So I have enjoyed, and these are, I mean, today, if you talk of only Pudumai Pittan or Ashoka Pittan or anybody, that, I mean, it's one set of stories. Of course, V. Janagiraman had some of the fantastic novels. We have read. And V. Janagiraman's musical awareness was superb. You could see it in his novels, in his drawings. So I have extensively read all these.
Sir, Madam Kala Venkatraman has retired from Syndicate Bank. She has taken VRS. Your AGM Murali sir is also sitting behind. You can meet him. So I just like to. Before we move, any other question? Then we will move on for pleasantries, sir. So I request our President, Chairman, to please, as a mark of respect to the great speaker who has spoken on the value of education, we are showing our respect by put a shawl and our sweet memento of this occasion being handed over to the chief guest by the respected President. Thank you, sir. It was a great, well-researched speech. Actually, there was a written speech which he has already given to us. With 7 pages, he did not go through the speech as he rightly started. Reading out a speech will be really, it will divert the attention of the audience. So he chose to speak on things which were not there in the written speech. So many characters drop out. So, sir, my daughter is also available here. You gave 2 sentences, which I think she would have definitely marked. Nobody would score 100% in all subjects. That she will definitely take it. Number 2, so that she is going to definitely take away. That will be the takeaway for her. And education is a continuous process. So whatever we do at home, children get educated from our manners, demeanors, the way we behave. So school, the first school for the children is home. That is what we are taught. So education, so many dropouts were there. So he did not read out the names of the dropouts. He did not say that you have to drop out to succeed. Sachin Tendulkar was a dropout at the age of 16. He dropped out of school, but he became a great personality in the field of cricket. But those who have dropped out have pursued other vocations, and they have succeeded in that. That's what the speaker was about to say here. And the role of value-based education, shaping up a person and attaining the full potential to lead a meaningful and happy, joyful life is what was emphasized during the speech. Education should arouse curiosity and embolden us to ask questions about everything we see. There is a saying in Tamil that don't believe what you see. You have to seek knowledge. A seeker always finds truth in whatever he sees, to believe it. So this was the summary of the speech. Now there is a saying in Tamil, Kural, Nandri Marapadu Nandrandru, Nandralladu Andre Marapadu Nandru. So it is time for vote of thanks to express our gratitude to the great speaker who has taken all the pains to travel all the way from New Delhi to be here on this occasion. So I request our secretary, Company Secretary C.S. N.N. Krishnan to deliver the vote of thanks.
Namaskaram. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. I am here before all of you for delivering the vote of thanks. Yes, let me begin with expressing my sincere prayers and gratitude to Goddess Saraswati, with whose blessings we are able to conclude the first program of NNR series lecture in a big way today. We had a wonderful learning, very well handled by our honorable speaker, the senior advocate Sri C.S. Vaidyanathan sir. BS management felt he is the right person for a good start of this NNR lecture series, and when we approached him, without any hesitation, he agreed to be with us for sharing his knowledge. Sir, we had a wonderful learning, lots of takeaways, and the session was very much interesting and very informative. On behalf of the management of Brahmin Educational Society, on behalf of all the participants present over here, we express our sincere gratitude, thanks to you for spending your very valuable time with us and sharing your knowledge and wisdom in this pleasant evening. My special thanks goes to all the professional members present over here, the teaching, non-teaching staff of both the schools, the students of our schools, our members, our well-wishers for their active participation and involvement. I thank the press and media for their continued support and coverage. See you all soon for our next session. Thank you so much. We will have the Shanti Mandram.
Let us all stand up for the national anthem. I request Chitra teacher and other teachers to come on to the dais for national anthem.
अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
Thank you very much.